First to tend to my wounds, then to the hidden leaf.
This has been the most controversial topic in the last few months to talk about. But here goes nothing. The fanbase is so fucking divided about Momoshiki at the moment. With some people saying that he's nothing but a mere fodder, while some others saying that he's a superior god that can clap every and anyone whenever he feels like it, and everything in between. It's also worth noting that many people have changed their minds about him in the past few months, going from saying he's a fodder that will lose to Madara to saying he's an alpha male who Kaguya calls daddy, which is really interesting to me. The split between the fanbase about him is really fascinating and interesting. It's also natural as you can look at Momoshiki from two entirely different perspectives. A. From the perspective of statements, in which case you'll find him an untouchable, indestructible alpha badass whose sperm can obliterate universes and is the only one who can rival Jesus Christ himself. B. From the perspective of the groundwork of reality, in which case you'll find him getting handled by a 12-year-old kid with a kunai and 2 shadow clones. I'm not here to give you the definitive answer of whether he's a fodder or not. I'm not going to feed you my opinions on a spoon, as if they were the only factually correct answers, as there's no objective answer to this question. But there's an objective answer, because it was stated in the databook. Shut the fuck up and let me continue my answer. What I'm here to do is that I'm gonna make a few comparisons between Momoshiki and Kaguya, Shippuden, and Boruto, statements and feats. And then let you interpret it however you want to and decide for yourself which one is stronger. Is it Kaguya or Momoshiki? Here's a statement from Urashiki Otsutsuki saying that Kaguya feared them. Here's Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura shitting their pants before Kaguya's presence. Here's Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura defeating Kaguya. Here's Momoshiki stating that he would have punished Kaguya, you naughty bastard. Here's Momoshiki not even realizing that Kaguya had implanted the divine tree. Also here's base Momoshiki looking down on Naruto and Sasuke. Here's fatigued Naruto and Sasuke being inferior life forms against fused Momoshiki. By the way, this was Naruto running on less than 50% chakra and Sasuke, who didn't only teleport 7 people plus himself, but also had to reserve enough chakra to teleport everyone back to Earth plus Naruto. Here's Joseph Puko claiming that being lower on chakra doesn't affect your stats. Here's Pola debunking that with a simple scan. Here's Momoshiki being confident that he's going to destroy Naruto and everyone. Here's Sasuke telling us that Momoshiki's confidence is nothing but arrogance and that Naruto could have overpowered his ass any moment he felt like it, but he just didn't want to destroy the village. Here's base Momoshiki's face before fighting the inferior life forms of Earth. Here's fused Momoshiki questioning his life decisions after fighting the inferior life forms of Earth. Here's a statement saying that Urashiki Otsutsuki is the strongest member of his clan. Some people say that this is a mistranslation and that it was supposed to be the most talented Otsutsuki, as in him getting high marks and grades in his Otsutsuki school. Regardless of that, here's the strongest, most talented Otsutsuki getting bullied by a 12-year-old kid who complains that his daddy doesn't come home from work, and a 13-year-old who complains that his boyfriend left the village. Which I find very interesting and ironic. It's almost like the perfect analogy of Boruto characters meeting Shippuden og Naruto characters. Boruto's characters are like balloons that were blown up by statements only to be burst when met with the reality that is Shippuden or even og Naruto's characters. I know that it's a filler, but I can't help but find the irony here. Anyway, here's Kanshiki being confident that he's going to shut Sasuke's cocky mouth and repay him. Here's Kanshiki repaying Sasuke. Here's Momoshiki taking almost a full day to absorb half of Kurama's chakra and describing it as massive amount of chakra. Here's half of Kurama's chakra in comparison with an incomplete 10 tails. Here's Kaguya's chakra shattering the ground beneath Team 7 from the excessive chakra and Naruto saying that it's far beyond the 10 tails chakra. Here's Sasuke not even believing his eyes that someone like Kaguya could even exist within the realm of possibility. Here's Kaguya manhandling 2 demigods and not killing them because the plot didn't allow her. Here's Kaguya dancing among Naruto's SP shadow clones with the least care in the world. Here's a 12-year-old kid blitzing Momoshiki's fused form in the anime. Here's the same exact 12 years old taking out his Rinnegan with a kunai and 2 shadow clones in the manga. Here's Momoshiki calling everyone insignificant inferior ants. Here's Momoshiki and Kinshiki getting bullied by the insignificant inferior ants who have no Dojutsu, 6 paths chakra, Senjutsu, Sage Motor SPSM, and we can only assume that they have gotten stronger due to training, not because it's the logical explanation, but because it's literally the only explanation that Boruto scalers can use to try and prove that Momoshiki and Kinshiki aren't fodders. Here's Might Guy, whose entire character is built on the fact that he trains every single day, every single hour, every single minute and every single second of his life. This guy is the epitome of hard work and dedication. He puts everything he has into training, shedding blood, tears and sweat, working on himself every day so that he can get help from Minato, Gaara, and Kakashi to finally be able to make One-Eyed Jubi Madara chuckle. Here's what Sasuke thinks about the difference between Three-Eyed Jubi Madara and Kaguya. So I'm not sure what kind of a training routine did these cosplayers who call themselves Cages had to go through to go from being less than Hibi Sasuke level by the EOS to becoming Kaguya +++ level, but I would personally love to know. Here's the databook stating that Kinshiki can split worlds. Here's another statement from the databooks that proves that Temari is universal. And another statement that proves that Kakashi is omnipotent. Here's Momoshiki failing to split Sasuke's sword. And here's the freaking Mizukage surviving a direct hit from Kinshiki's world-splitting weapons. Motherfucker probably died a virgin because he couldn't even split his wife's cheeks. Here's a scan that proves that Kaguya needed an army to fight Momoshiki and Kinshiki. Here's the army that Kaguya needed to deal with Momo and Kinki. This is LVL. 1 EMS Sasuke stretching his arms and killing an entire squad of THEM that are enhanced with Hashirama's cells after killing the original. Here's a proof that the Otsutsukas aren't immortal. And by the same extent Kaguya shouldn't be. And here's a proof that the divine tree that Kaguya absorbed can make you immortal. Here's a team that consists of 2 cage level shinobi that has enough chakra stored in her to be able to open all of Kaguya's dimensions. All barely succeeding in merely sealing Kaguya by a sealing jutsu that they borrowed from her dead son's ghost, which only requires them to merely touch her, which is what they were struggling to do. On the other hand, here's Momoshiki getting obliterated into space by a massive Rasengan that was produced by a Naruto who was close to 0% of his chakra and was incapacitated by the rods that were continuously sucking his chakra to the point that he couldn't even stand on his feet. The guy probably flew so far into space that the other Otsutsukas could see him from their planet. He obtained the other half of the Kyuubi, which is insignificant here since he was in his base form using his own chakra. 2. He became able to do multiple shadow clones in his Sage Mode form, which is also insignificant since he was in his base form. 3. He became better at Taijutsu, which guess what, oh yeah, and training, whatever the fuck that means nowadays. Here's Kaguya tanking Super Tailed Beast's Rasen Shuriken from SPSM Naruto. And after that she was like, ouch, I almost lost control over the tailed beasts. You know what, fuck you, I'ma annihilate this whole dimension. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi would never dream of overpowering this thing. Here's Sasuke making a hypothesis about Kinki and Momo. Here's another translation for after they decoded Kaguya's scroll, where he doesn't confirm shit. But I realize that this is probably a cop-out, so here's the most common and most used translation. But after you think about it, what did this scroll hold in it? It only confirmed that Momo and Kinki are Otsutsuki just like Kaguya, so here's the most likely suspicions that Sasuke confirmed. And 2 Otsutsukas are probably more dangerous than 1 Otsutsuki, or so he thought at least.